Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with episode 45 of the Snowflake Viewpoint. I hope you all had a good weekend. Hello to everyone here in the live chat. Alistair Keir, Kevin Grant, Andrew Luke, good to see you all there. Hope you guys are doing well. Got a live poll there for you guys today if you guys want to cast your vote and have your say. Does Lee Anderson have any idea what he's doing? Yes, no, or he always asks mum first. Who the F is Lee Anderson? Yeah, some crazy ones there, guys. If you want to know the mum reference, I'll let you know later when we talk about Lee Anderson there. Just a few other people just popped in. Pedulous, good to see you. Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. Caffo Gorman, good to see you. I hope you're doing well as well. 91 Leeds is there. Good to see you. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. A great show earlier on. Wim is there as well. Good to see you. Yeah, thanks guys for popping along. Yep, got quite a lot. God, got quite a lot to dive into today, guys. It's my God. I mean, yeah, quite a lot, guys. And I think it's before we get to 30p Flea and the whole him moving over to reform and that, I think it's really obviously a big story came down, an exclusive from The Guardian, which we are going to cover here, guys. If you have not seen it online, it's a pretty bleak one here. So this exclusive here saying the biggest Tory donor said looking at Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black people. The exclusive reveals remarks by Frank Hester, who has given £10 million to the party in the past year. It raises questions over his workplace behaviour. No yawning or fingerprints on the doors to strict rules at Tory donors firm. Frank Hester, computer programmers who make fortunes from public sector contracts. I mean, man, this is, yeah. I can't believe someone actually would say such a despicable thing. And this is their biggest donor. This is their biggest donor, guys, as well. This is, like, I mean, am I the only one who thinks there's something wrong here? When the story broke, already people were tweeting at the Met Police that they should investigate into this. Whether the police will or not, I don't know. But at the time of this recording, I haven't. I did check. I think about 20 minutes ago to check the Met Police. I didn't see them tweet a response to it, but I think there's something here for them to look at. I don't know about you guys, but there's definitely something here to be looked at, and. Yeah, it's only going to get worse as we read into it. I've only read a little bit, to be fair. Billy Kershaw, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. So the Conservative Party's biggest donor told colleagues that looking at Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black women and said the MP should be shot, The Guardian can reveal. What a sick, disgusting individual this person is. A disgusting individual. Like, I have disagreements about Diane Abbott and some of the way she sometimes conducts herself. But this is just despicable. This is a despicable man. This is a despicable man. How can that... Oh, I just, like... you know what the infuriating thing is, yeah? He fits right in with the Conservatives. He fits with this whole lot. He really, really does. It's so sickening, guys. He fits right in with these lot. It really is disgusting. Frank Hester, who has given £10 million to the Tories in the past year, he's given £10 million, said in the meeting that he did not hate all black women. But he said seeing Abbott, who is long-serving black MP on TV, meant you just want to hate all black women because she's there. What the hell is that supposed to mean? What on earth is that supposed to mean? What are you implying? Like, you're blatantly being racist here. There's no two-way and shoving around this. You're being blatant racist here. It's blatant racism. Pure and simple right here in black and white. He also called on all his foreign workers together to defend himself against online claims that he made racist remarks. You just made racist remarks! During this meeting, he said he abhorrent racism and told his team their progress would not be based on the colour of their skin, your ethnicity, or where your parents come from. However, he also said, we take the piss out of the fact that all our Chinese girls sit together in the Asian corner. You're starting to see a picture here, guys. You're starting to see a picture here. So, like, we haven't even, like, I don't even think we've gotten even halfway through the article. So we've already established he has something against black women. He doesn't like Diane Abbott, and now he's taking the piss out of Chinese girls. Like, the racism couldn't be more clearer here. Joe, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. The remarks raised questions about the workplace behaviour and professionalism of a man whose money will be helping to bankroll the Conservative Party's general election campaign. Hester, a businessman from West Yorkshire, runs a healthcare technology firm. I wouldn't want him running anything healthcare-wise. God. The Phoenix Partnership, TPP, which has been paid more than £400 million by the NHS and other government bodies since 2016. £400 million? What are we giving them £400 million for? Primarily to look after 60 million UK medical records. I thought Platinum was holding the contract were given the contract, yeah, to hold all of the NHS data records. Am I missing something here? Stephen Banker, good to see you. Cathal, good to see you both. Hope you're both doing well. I'm sure I've been covering the Platinum story about them securing and they did secure a contract, yeah, from the UK government to hold all the NHS's data. So I'm a bit confused by this here. Unless Open Democracy have got their information wrong. He has profited from £135 million worth of contracts with the Department of Health and Social Care, the DHHE, in less than 4 years. In 4 years, he secured £135 million. Hester give £5 million to the Conservatives in May 2023, announced his month a further £5 million donation, which he had been accepted by the party from the company in November last year. With months to go before the next general election, a party spokesperson confirmed that he is now its biggest ever donor. Labour have called the Conservatives to return the £10 million donation from Hester and his company. Well, they're not going to do that. We know they're not going to do that. After his publications about the remarks, a statement from TPP said Hester accepted it. He was rude about Diane Abbott in a private meeting several years ago, but his criticism had nothing to do with her gender nor colour of her skin. The statement said Hester has abhorrent racism, at least not because he experienced it as a child of Irish immigrants from the 1970s. The statement added he rang Diane Abbott twice today to try and apologise directly for the hurt he had caused her, and he is deeply sorry for his remarks. He wishes to make it clear that he regards racism as a poison with no place in public life. I wasn't going to share this. 1 second. I had something from Dawn Butler that's tweeted with regards to this actually, which if you just give me 1 second, I wasn't planning to show this, but I did save it just in case I wanted to. Sorry about this, guys. I wasn't planning. I didn't expect it, like, it's just so infuriating. So this is from Dawn Butler. She tweeted with regards to this. She said, this vile man has been bombarding Diane Abbott. So after all this, yeah, because he knows he looks like a racist. He knows he's a racist. And now he's basically been bombarding Diane Abbott with racism, with messages consistently here saying, every single MP, including Rishi Sunak, needs to call this out. You cannot be selective about MP safety because this racist gives you £10 million. Diane now being hounded by this is unacceptable. If anyone knows him, ask him to stop. This was at 4:19, by the way, today. This tweet. So when the story broke, like, he clearly has been bombarding Diane Abbott on this. And here, where he's saying that his criticism has nothing to do with her gender nor the colour of her skin. Let's scroll back up and just check, just confirm that. He said, Hey, what was it he said again? You want to hate all black women. It says, looking at Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black women. That's what he said. I'm I'm sorry, but that's racism. Like, he's backtracking now. This is infuriating. This is just infuriating, guys. TPP's lawyers previously said the company fostered a diverse and inclusive workplace. Oh, really? Really? With a significant proportion of staff from minority ethnic backgrounds. Are they getting paid the same as a typical white male or female? Answers on a postcard, please. And that Hessler's comments has been distorted and taken out of context. It's not been taken out of context. This is what he said. He said, looking at Diane Abbott makes you want to hate all black women. There's no contextualized whatsoever. It's racism. Plain and simple. It's not been taken out of context. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And we're not a truth or accurate characterization of the company or Hester. You know, and the thing he said about, obviously, Chinese girls in the Asian corner is definitely not racist either, yeah? Are we to accept that as well, right? In an interview last week, Hessler praised Rishi Sunak for embracing artificial intelligence, saying the future is AI, and we've got a Prime Minister who gets it. I don't think you get anything. As part of a months-long investigation, including interviews with dozens of former TPP employees, many of them told The Guardian that Hessler runs a strict workplace environment at the firm headquarters in Leeds, with staff told to make sure they raise their hand straight up when asking the question and instruct them to clean fingerprints off office glass when they leave marks. The Guardian has learned of a 2019 meeting at TPP's headquarters in which Hessler spoke about an exclusive from another organisation, saying, she's shit, she's the shittest person. Honestly, I try not to be sexist, but when I meet somebody like the executive, I just... Excuse me? It's like trying not to be racist, but when you see Diane Abbott on TV and you're just like, I just want to hate all black women because she's there. I don't hate all black women at all, but I think she should be shot. I just like... I think he is a sick, he's just a sick, disgusting individual. Like, how is this out of context? Or this is a mischaracterization of this? Like, are they see, the thing is, alright, here's the thing, right? Here's the really important thing, yeah, you have to understand, yeah, as we're still reading into this, okay? Has he denied this? Has he denied the context of what this has been, of what the Guardian has reported here? Because if he blatantly denied and said, I did not say any of this, this is wrong, and challenged the Guardian on this, there would be a little bit of a difference here. But he's not challenged what he has said. He's not said, I did not say these comments. He's not said that. And he's gone out of his way to apologise, which is the only thing he's done right. But it sounds like he's harassing her from the looks of it, from the tweet from Dawn Butler we just seen as well. But I mean, my God. So he's for him, he's not denied it, but they're trying to play it down as well. So he's clearly said this, and he's trying to make it out like he's done nothing wrong here. The executive and Diane Abbott need to be shot. I can't stand this. She's stupid, and if we can get the executive being unprofessional, we can get her sacked. It's not as good as her dying. He's calling, like, how is this not something the Met Police need to look into? It would be much better if she dies. She's consuming resources. She's eating food that other people could eat, you know. I know you want me to swear, guys. I'm not gonna do it. I want to swear, guys. I really want to, but I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna give this piece of shit the satisfaction. Abbott was a Labour MP for more than 35 years until she was suspended by the party in April last year after suggesting that the Jewish, Irish, and traveller people were not subject to racism all their lives. She's waiting a decision on whether she'll be reinstated. On a separate occasion in 2019, Hester called everyone who was foreign amongst his employees to a meeting where he defended himself against online reviews and said to be a former staff, accusing them of racist remarks. Hi Wolfpack, good to see you, buddy. Excuse me. In that meeting, he said, I made a lot of jokes about racism, about our different creeds and cultures, but I want to assure you that it is just the most abhorrent thing. Who's buying this? Who's buying this? Seriously. He added, I want to clear the air, make sure we all know where we are. We know exactly where we are, we know exactly where you are, and we don't want to be anywhere near you. I generally actually feel sorry for people who have to work for these kind of bosses. I really, really do. These are abhorrent people. These are really abhorrent people. In the meeting, he said, I made a lot of jokes about racism, about our... sorry, I read that already. And we take the piss about out of the fact that all our Chinese girls sit together in the Asian corner, which they do. He later said, I would like us to be loving and accepting of each other. We are all human. What? Okay, I'm gonna add some. I'm gonna give you guys into a little insight about something here that I don't really normally talk about. So, when I used to work, I worked in a certain workplace, guys. This is absolutely true. I used to work in Edgware in London, North London. And this was a very, very long time ago. And I worked in a store. And in that store, there was a period in that store where for about 4 or 5 months, I was quite young. And I was the only white person working in that store for a couple of months. I worked there for several years, but I was the only white person for like a 3 or 4 month period or something like that. And everyone that I worked with were either from Hindu, from Pakistan, or from India, from that part of the world. Pretty much everybody who was working there, and they spoke their own language sometimes. Do you want to know how that made me feel? I didn't care. I didn't care. Because I was taught to treat everyone the same. And you know what? They never saw me as any different because I, like them, was a work colleague doing my job. You know, and I understand that some people have a different upbringing and different experiences with people. But it never bothered me. Never bothered me at all. You know, and I kid you not, guys. I kid you not. I remember when I worked in this shop, right? I kid you not. This is absolutely 100% true. I remember one time I worked on the till. Okay, there's this one time I worked on the till, and a customer complained to me that why am I working in a shop full of Asians? And I looked at him, and I didn't even bother responding. Like I just looked at him and stunned. I was like to me, it was like, what the hell? Like. Why does that matter? Like, who the hell cares? I'm here to do a job, just like everybody else is. Who the hell cares? Like, that's the premise, yeah, of this, yeah? Why do we have this issue with people about their skin color, their nationality, or where they're from? To me, like, I try really hard, guys. I really try very, very hard, you know, even before I began... Or even before I started YouTube, before even I was, me and Lee Corn started the Snowflake show, I always tried to put myself in someone else's shoes and try to understand why people think and feel the way they feel. And for the life of me, like, I will never forget that customer saying that to me, because it really, really ticked me off. And I never said anything. I don't even remember, actually. I don't even think I said anything to the colleagues at the time, because I didn't really care, you know. And I never looked at it in like that, but it was like to me, it was like, just why? And again, I know some of you guys probably have had different experiences, and that's perfectly all right. But to me, I just didn't see what the issue was. But this man, this Hester guy, he's clearly been brought up and raised in such a way that he thinks that people of different skin colour or of nationality or whatever are beneath him, that are second-class citizens. That's his premise. That's his mindset. That's what he's been taught. And the thing is that he's going to spread those viewpoints among people around him as well. And it's really, really bad. And he's not the only one. We know there are lots and lots of people out there, not just in the UK, around the world, especially in America, who create this premise that there is something wrong with someone else simply because of their skin colour, their nationality, or religious or ideology beliefs. All this absolute nonsense. And it's really important, and I really want people to understand this, yeah? Please don't base somebody based on their skin colour or their sex, whether it's male, female, non-binary, their religious beliefs or their nationality, yeah? Base them on how they treat you and how you treat them. That's how you should base them on, yeah? Because that's how I treat people. That's honestly how I treat people, and I generally hope you guys feel the same way as I do about it. But this, and a part of me does, and you guys are not going to understand this, but a part of me does feel sorry for him because he was not born racist. I don't believe this premise that people are born racist. I have this premise that people are taught racism. They are taught to believe in something, especially at a young age as they're growing up. And I believe this is what he was taught, many people. And this is the thing. This is the problem. We have too many people in society who think that this is an okay thing, and they continue to pass it on down to generations. And this needs to stop. Not just here, everywhere around the world. We need to stop this ideological sense that it's okay to treat people indifferently because of these things. It's wrong in every way, shape or form. I will come back to all your messages in the chat, guys. Let me finish reading this. TPP lawyers Carter Ruck said Hesker was consensus that many of his employees from Asia were young and isolated, and he wanted to make them feel welcome and encourage them to integrate. They added that the TPP offered to fly Asian employees back to their families in business class when lockdowns were lifted during the pandemic. Hester, 54, who made an OBE under David Cameron, has spoken approvingly of Sunak and attended the Prime Minister's AI summit with Elon Musk in November, shortly after his first £5 million donation was made public. His lawyers said the fact that his donation was to a party led by Britain's first Hindu Prime Minister, a politician of Indian heritage, were further evidence of him embracing diversity. Your comments, yeah, doesn't shake. It's not the same with me here. The TTP workplace is governed by a handbook containing extracting rules. Those include instructions on how to be direct when speaking with yes or no answers, and without using phrases such as I think so or sort of, as well as directive of how employees must raise their hand straight up when they wish to speak and not half-hearted. I don't like these kind of tactics here. Forcing people a sort of way. You're turning them robotic here, you're not giving them more of a chance to be a bit more loose and a bit more free. It's very robotic to me. Employees told to show up about their open plan office with an apology if they are late for work and walk in and interrupt means if they have something to say. They must live with a defining radius of the office in the Leeds, a suburb of Holsford, excluding the city centre. Carter Ruck said the handbook existed to maintain high standards and showed that the firm took the welfare of its staff seriously, citing early finishes on Friday and a requirement to take holidays. Ex-staffers have described how Hesker gave huge perks to employees, including £300 for birthday meals and free drinks in the local pubs on Friday. He would take large group of workers on week-long sailing trips to the British Virgin Islands and Croatia, with the cost paid for by the company. Carter Ruck said such perks and higher-than-value remunerations, including a positive working environment. If true, then if this bit is true, that's good. It's good that I will point this out. It's good that if an employer treats workers like this, but for me, it still doesn't change the context of the comments that he made originally. I'm glad that he treats employers with these birthday meals and free drinks and whatever holidays and that, yeah, for their hard work and whatnot. But let's not take away the fact of what this man's comments have made. Excuse me. However, some former TPP workers claimed that many high-achieving graduates were only taken to be abruptly fired within weeks or months of joining. TPP's lawyers disputed that its turnover was high, saying 2/3 of staff had been with the company for more than 5 years and nearly 3/4 had chosen to stay for at least 3 years. The company's main clients are the NHS and the DHSC. Figures provided by Tussell, which analyses government spending, showed that the government, NHS and local authorities have paid more than £440 million contracts to TPP companies since 2016. Hesker, the sole owner, collected dividends of £33.5 million for the last 5 years, of which accounts for the TPP group are available. A TPP spokesperson says, as the safe and trusted custodians of £80 million medical records in the UK and around the world, we always hire the best people for the job regardless of race, gender, sexuality and any other characteristic. We take care of all our people and celebrate diversity in our workplace. We reward our staff well, encourage them to work collaboratively and take ownership of their responsibilities to demonstrate the commitment and professionalism that the NHS patients and our customers around the world deserve. Having recently witnessed the tragic consequences that can be caused when system software and major public services fail, we are proud to demand the high standards that our staff to ensure that we can continue to safely and reliable service of our health service. The Conservative Party at this time has declined to comment. Like I said, his comments are unacceptable and they need to be looked into. Like the stuff there about how he treats his workforce, if true, on those points about like how he really treats them, in those regards, like the bonuses and holidays thing, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But the whole like Asian corner saying those remarks, like the things he's saying about Diane Abbott, there's no justification for them whatsoever. No justification whatsoever. And they're using this point of because he was a young Irishman back in the 1970s. Well, he needs to get with the goddamn times like the rest of people at his age now. And if he's not going to get it, then he shouldn't be working in that kind of environment if he doesn't accept that. You know, especially when you're somebody who has that stature and has that influence. I generally don't think he really does think about his comments whatsoever, guys. I really don't think he does. Didn't think it would take us half an hour to go through that, but there you go. Right. Let me... should I scroll up on this one or should I scroll up on this one? I'm just going to say the poll, guys. We're going to come to him shortly. Does Lee Anderson have any idea what he's doing? 58% of you say no, 21% of you say yes, 5% of you think he asks his mum, and 16% don't even know who the F Lee Anderson is, which is perfectly alright to say that. You're perfectly alright to say that, guys. I'm going to use my phone because it's probably a bit easier, so I will try to read all your comments. If I miss your comments, I do apologise. I will put... Ollie's not happy about this story, but the lava lamp has come to fruition because I turned it on a few hours ago, believe it or not. Just going to scroll down to see. Remember to hit the like button, says Pedulous. Thank you there. Billy Kershaw. Well, you stirred up a hornet nest. Get on. Thanks. Stir up hornet nest. Just Tory Slee says Wim there. To be fair, Hester might have experienced that discrimination if he stayed in Ireland. Maybe, Andrew, maybe. Everyone's saying hello to each other. What's wrong with a black woman? They are not Martians, you know. I have met some really nice ones, says Shell. I know. Stupid as in stupid does, or there's just blatant ignorance. Yes, says Stephen Banker. Kevin Grant says, just called LBC Cross Questions. Ian Dale spoke about Frank's comments. They said they would call me back if they would like the question. Okay. Pedulous says to Jal, don't insult all the poor Neanderthals by comparing them to these lunatics, please. This person that utters this rubbish is a weakling. Oh, you're buffering, Alistair. I hope it's fixed now. It's all fine here. Hessler should be called hysterical. Starmer will use this in his pantomime questions. Doesn't sit well with his anti-racism in politics. Petition signed by Patel, Rudd, and the other prick. I think I've got a video dropping either tomorrow or Wednesday on that story, Andrew. Wolf Pets here, good to see you. The thing is, The thing he's saying here would be about 5 different crimes, at least in Portugal, Spain, and France, the ones that I know about. Yeah, of course. If he said those kind of remarks that, you know, in any of those countries, he would definitely, you know, sort of thing be pulled. Devilish work today. Asians will sit with you too, Heschler, if you are not in Egypt inbred. Yeah. Billy Kegshaw said, bang on, mate. Giles says, to me, same thing as my dad told me, treat everyone the same. Alistair Keir says, yep, exactly, never bothered me. Kath's just popping out for a bit. We are all from the human race, give respect, give it, says Frederick. Yeah, absolutely, Frederick. Thanks for popping by. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. My best friend growing up were small in numbers and only a half black guy, Marco, and Gypsy dude named Antonio never called me a Nazi, says Jal. Everyone's saying hello to each everyone. They were Gypsy and black, came over to my house, we went to theirs, we had meals, and no one bothered about it. Also, they did not get annoyed when I spoke German, especially around my grandpa, says Jal. Yes, exactly. Like, why does it matter? Exactly. Why does it matter? Racism comes in all colours. Most Caucasians are racist, especially the elders. It's because they've been brought. Some people have just been brought up that way, isn't it? And it's about trying to break that. To me, it's about trying to break the cycle of people being continuously taught this. That's how I see it. I see it as a way of, we need to try and break the cycle of people being taught this. That's how I see it. I mean, obviously there's more to it, but we need to try and break the cycle if we can. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope I'm not too far away from the mic. You're on the juice tonight. My grandkids don't see colour. That's exactly it, Billy. You're saying your grandkids don't see colour. I didn't see it when I was in school. I never saw it when I was in school. I didn't care what the colour of their skin was. It never fazed me. Never fazed me at all, because kids don't see it like that. So they never did. No worries, Billy. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, no worries. Haskell asking staff to be very short with him. Hindus can be bigots. Look at Modi and the Indian government. Obviously, what's happening there is a big issue, is definitely problematic. But I wouldn't characterise all Hindus as that. I wouldn't characterise it. I didn't have that interpretation of people that I worked with back then. But that's just my opinion. Everyone, like I said, everyone has different opinions, aren't they? Some were saying paint to address him on the right on the phone to pick him up with 2 rings, says Andrew Luke. You're alright, everyone can be a bigot. Reason why they should all be treated like the ignorance that they are. Equal playing field to all. Leeds is asking Jal about the Portuguese elections. I'm going to cover it on the World's News Round tomorrow, Jal. Tomorrow at 7. Just for you know. So I'm not going to comment on the Portuguese election till then. It's not. That's good. Not going to be as bad as it sounded then, says 91 Leeds. Thanks, guys, for all your comments. Appreciate it. Let's carry on. Didn't think I'd spend half an hour on this, but there we go. So we got another exclusive from The Guardian, guys, before we get to Lee Anderson. I know, are we ever going to get there? I hope so, UK anti-Islam... get my words together. UK anti-Islamophobia body has not met for 4 years despite hate crime rise. The exclusive reveals that the chair of the working group raised his concerns over Michael Gove's failure to restart the body that last met in 2020. This guy is happy to just tear things up. Like, even I don't understand the full definition of extremism. Okay, I'm going to be blatantly blunt with you. I don't understand the full definition of it. But the thing is that I don't want to talk too. I mean, I'll talk a little bit, but I do have another video coming out on this. But the thing for me is that many bodies were not consulted on this issue. I think a lot of communities and faith leaders were not even discussed about this change in terms of extremism as well. They weren't even discussed. They weren't even in the conversation about this all. And we're talking about Islamophobia on the rise here, and yet an anti-Islamophobia body that we have here in the UK has not had any conversations for 4 years. That tells you a lot about how much they want to stoke up this whole culture war. This is what they want. They want to stoke up the culture war. They don't want you talking about the cost of living crisis. They don't want to talking about the NHS. They don't want Scotland talking about independence. They don't want to be talking about anything else, guys. All they want you to talk about is culture war. The culture war. The immigrants coming to get you, take your jobs, take your NHS. It's all because of them now. It's not because of the EU anymore, because we left them. We can't blame them, so we have to blame immigrants for everything. We have to blame the peaceful Palestinian protesters for what's going on, even though they're doing absolutely nothing wrong, and what they're doing is perfectly legitimate, legal, and safe to a certain extent. But that's what they want. They want this culture war. This is what the Conservatives want. And I absolutely effing hate it. I really, really do. Because it's distracting us all from the main issues that are happening across the whole of the UK, shall we say. So the government's anti-Muslim hatred working group, the AMHWG, has been on pause for more than 4 years despite repeated promises from officials and a sharp rise in hate crime. The Guardian understands that members of the AMHGW last officially met in January 2020 before all the working group were adjourned because of the COVID pandemic, with reports showing a 335% increase in UK anti-Muslim hate crime since Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th. Members of the group have expressed their concerns over Michael Gove's inability to restart the group and tackle the surging anti-Muslim hate crime. The group was set up during David Cameron's premiership in 2012 and with the aim of addressing anti-Muslim hatred and monitoring hate crime and the police force's records of it before looking at initiatives to prevent it. Officials recall how supportive Cameron and his successor Theresa May had been towards the initiative, but they said they stood in stark contrast to the previous three prime ministers. Again, because the three previous prime ministers want to stoke hatred. It has been noted that May was able to distance her government from Boris Johnson's Telegraph article when he compared veiled Muslim women to letterboxes, while Rishi Sunak has been able to do the same under recent comments after Lee Anderson claimed the London Mayor Sadiq Khan was under the control of Islamics, which is complete bollocks. Alika Ahmad, the chair of the working group, said at this time of heightened fear, anxiety and tension, government should be doing its utmost to fulfil its statutory obligations and responsibilities towards all communities. Well, we know they don't do that. Yet when it comes to British Muslims, this simply isn't happening. Since Theresa May's premiership, the government has reluctant to address Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hatred because it has become increasingly outlandish, even when condemning the MP Lee Anderson for his remarks about the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and Rishi Sunak was unable to name either. Politicised discussions about terminology have stalled in works to address prejudging, bigotry and discrimination against British Muslims. Personally, I want to use the term interchangeable and I'm not precious about labels, but we do need to develop a robust definition. Questions as to what will happen to the group have mounted since 2022 when the government last independent advisor provided an expert advice on the definition of Islamophobia to the government. Imran Qari Aslim was removed. The post was remained vacant for 2 years. Senior government officials have given the members repeated verbal assurances that it will be restarted. Yet it still hasn't, guys, at the time of this recording. The Guardian understands that Gove is now trying to put together a new shortlist of candidates for the anti-Muslim hatred advisory group after a conflicting report that Number 10 blocked the appointment of Fizz Mongol on Friday night, or that he pulled out of the running. It is not clear whether the role will remain the same. Government spokesperson said, "We are taking action to ensure no extremist organisations or individuals have been given a platform by their actions and interactions with the government. We will set out further details shortly." Last week, the Shadow Equality Secretary Annalise Dawes asked the Department for Levelling Up Housing Communities what priorities they had identified in collaboration with the AMHWC and whether the group had identified any difficulties in delivering the recommendations since 2019. The Housing Minister Lee Rowley has said, "We would continue to take a broad approach to religious hatred. We will develop the work of the previous anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hatred working groups," noted their plans to employ a new independent advisor on anti-Muslim hatred. I don't trust Michael Gove, and neither should you guys. It's a concern, to say the least, on this. Like I said, I have a video on extremism coming out, if not tomorrow, on Wednesday. But obviously, if you're a Snowflake corporal, you can watch it straight away. Again, it's just I just see this as culture war. Like, why would you not, like, if you're serious about dealing with Islamophobia, why have you not got the body back up, the anti-Islamophobia body back up? It just makes logical sense here. That's because they want to stoke that tension, excuse me, and hatred, guys. They want to. So before we go to our first funny video to break things up, we are going to talk about 30p flea. But before we go to 30p flea, guys, I want to share these comments here. I wonder if anybody remembers these comments. Give me a sec, because yeah, you know, it's funny, you know, how, you know, he's honestly an honest man, guys. He's definitely an honest man. Surely you'll agree with me that 30p League would never lie to the people.
You see now, Reform, they're not winning by-elections. I think they're even struggling to scrape their deposit. And he's a great figurehead, is Nigel. He's been a great politician. He's done fantastic things. But Reform are a threat. They are a threat, a bigger threat to the country at the moment, I think, than the Labour Party. Because if Reform do pick off a lot of us Conservative MPs at the next election, then what's going to happen is we're going to end up with a Labour government. And a Labour government is the last thing I want. I love my country. I love my country to bits. I don't want to see a Labour government. And I'm sure now, you see now.
It's funny how you know, comments that you make so recently can just come back to bite you. You know, it's funny that, isn't it? Well done to Haggers for pointing finding that clip and putting that out on Twitter very quickly. It's absolutely brilliant, that guy. Yeah, you know, I was going to think of saving that for the Snowflake Watch, but I thought it was appropriate to bring that up now, guys. So yeah, 30p flea, Lee Anderson, the former Conservative Deputy Chair, defects to Reform UK. The Ashfield MP now becomes the party's first representative in Parliament, promising to speak out for people who feel they are not being listened to. But who are the people he's talking about? Who are the people he's talking about? Still struggling to figure that out. I did watch the Sky News video clip as well, and I was just like, the way Richard Tyson, Lee Anderson were responding to questions. I think the most funniest thing was him standing behind a flag while talking, and one or two people were sniggering, and he's like, "Who's laughing?" Clearly, the sniggering and laughing does get to him. You know, you only need to remember. You only need to remember the Labour people sniggering at him. You know, if you do too much of him, he'll get upset and have to run back to mummy. Mr. Anderson, who secured the seat of Ashfield in 2019, was kicked out of the Parliamentary Conservative Party for refusing to apologise after alienating that London's Mayor Sadiq Khan was controlled by Islamics. And while some of his colleagues had called for a reinstatement, others accused him of Islamophobia, because it is Islamophobia. There's no arguing here. Making the announcement of his defection at an event in central London, Mr. Anderson told journalists that he had done a lot of soul searching about his political journey, but concluded somebody has got to make a stand. Yes, you can make a stand. You know, you can make a stand by standing for Reform, Reform UK, who have no MPs and don't really have much of a say in the House. Now, I know some people. I've heard some different sides. So some people have said that. I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, but I will say this. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Now, obviously, there's obviously a poll up there thinking, does Lee Anderson actually know what he's doing with this all? And there is a serious side to the poll. And that is he going to be able to hold on to his seat at the general election? Do we realistically think that Lee Anderson is going to hold on to his seat in Ashfield as a Reform candidate, as a Reform MP, rather than a Conservative? I don't think so. I generally don't. Like, I'm not seeing, like, he's saying that he's speaking for a lot of people. He's talking a lot of things. I'm not seeing enough of him with younger voters. Like, I'm seeing him with a few of the voters standing there having pints and whatnot. I'm not seeing him with younger voters in agreement with him. Now, some of you may have seen it and may have clips to show me, but I haven't. Casper, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Steve as well, good to see you. I didn't see you there as well. Hope you're doing well. But I'm not buying that Lee Anderson is going to be in his seat come the general election. I could be wrong and I could be completely shocked by it, but I think he's just a grifter. Actually, he's a grifter. Like, going from Labour to Conservative and now Reform, you know, he's just nothing but baggage. And the thing is that because he's had his gig on GB News, It's given him some public limelight, and the controversies and comments that he has made have given him spotlight. I don't like that the mainstream media gives him this damn spotlight. I think it's really frustrating. But Reform, when I heard they had an announcement this morning, I was like, oh, what are they doing? What's going on? And I think Phil from Different Bias said it made no sense, and I agree with him. It made absolutely no sense to do this on a Monday morning. Why would you do this on a Monday morning? Like, he said it makes total sense to do this just before Prime Minister's questions, which is absolutely bang on the point. Like, if Lee Anderson defects, like, literally just before PMQs, like half an hour or whatever, you know, it really does, like, take the wind out of the Conservatives. Like, it really does. So, like, he will be the talk of the town. And I feel like, yeah, this is a good time for the Conservatives to slip in one or two undetectable things for the media as well. Yeah. It's no secret that I've been talking to my friends in Reform for a while, added the MP. And Reform UK has offered me the chance to speak out in Parliament on behalf of millions of people. Millions of people? What millions of people is he talking about? He doesn't speak. Does he speak for Scotland? No. Does he speak for Wales? No. Apparently, he's not even that north, apparently, as well. Like, he doesn't speak for... Does he speak for me in just outside South East London? No. Does he speak for those in Devon? No. Who is these millions of people he's talking to? Up and down the country who feel they are not being listened to. I will say that there is a vast majority of people within the whole of the UK feel who are not being listened to by both parties. But Lee Anderson is not somebody who is going to stand up for us in any way, shape or form. I'm just going to put that out there. People will say that I took a gamble and I'm prepared to gamble on myself, and I know from my mailbag how many people in this country support Reform in the UK and what they have to say. I'm going to assume his mailbag is just a lot of people telling him how pathetic he really is, probably. Is this even worth reading on? Probably not. Let's listen to political correspondent what Andrew Definition said. There we have it. Lee Anderson becomes the first Reform UK's first member of Parliament. The Definition will say in stock ways through Westminster and particularly through the Conservative Party, who only a week ago were trying to seize control of the narrative and boost their dire polling numbers with a tax-cutting budget. No such luck. Now you suspect many people in the Conservative Party rather like Lee Anderson, who would have welcomed him back into the fold with open arms. He's the man who brought in by Rishi Sunak, will say the things that others couldn't, to be the party's voice in the Red Wall, the ballot against both Labour and Reform. By defecting, not only he damages the Conservatives, but gives a significant boost to their rivals. The nightmare Conservative scenario seems to be squeezed between both a resurgent Labour Party and a rising Reform UK, to say nothing of the Liberal Democrats. It is a shade not of the Labour landslide in 1997, but of 1993, the year the Canadian Progressive Conservative Party suffered a near extinction level event after being assassinated on several sides by rival parties, including potentially a right-wing outfit called Reform. Mr. Anderson's definition does not mean that will happen, but at a stroke, Reform UK will have moved from the sidelines to the main stage. You guys are giving them a main stage platform. That's the problem. Like, you don't give this, like, I've put this in a video, guys. You don't give enough platforms to the Green Party or Lib Dems or other parties. You keep giving the Reform Party a platform. This is not, it's you guys who are blatantly giving them the platform, the mainstream media. They're at fault here. They're giving them the damn platform. But they won't give it to the same to others. It's an unfair media system we have right here. There are swirling rumours of further defections in the pipeline, all which will do little to warm the chill dread of 1993, currently coursing down the Conservative spines. This guy, I'm not going to read any more of it because it'll just drive me insane if I'm honest, guys. But I'm sure I'll save you guys a lot of breath on it. But I just will say this. So, obviously, he was the former deputy chair of the Conservative Party as well. Why on God's green earth did Rishi Sunak gave him that? I have no idea. But I just don't understand what people see in him. I mean, even at that conference, yeah, he was very reluctant to answer questions properly. Like, he blatantly ignored was it Beth Rigby's comment? And it was just, like, so goddamn rude. So rude. Outright rude. I was just like, what are you so scared of? Like, why are you so scared? Like, why are you so scared to talk to the media? Like, you're an MP. Like, oh my God, it's just so ridiculous to say the least, guys. It really, really is. Wait, what's that, Ollie? What? Oh, okay. Guys, Larry and Paul have some broken news regarding 30p Lee Anderson. We better tune into them. Larry and Paul, you guys better take it away.
Welcome to Broken News. The Guinness Book of World Records has named Britain's cleverest person. And in what may come as a surprise to many, it's the outspoken MP, Lee Anderson. Our reporter has more.
Known for his strident views on immigrants, travellers and the death penalty, Mr Anderson appears to be a bacon-faced mouth-breather with about as much going on behind the thick plating of his stupid skull as an old bag of cement gone hard. Yet, despite being so openly and stultifyingly dense that he could give lead a run for its money, Mr Anderson somehow wangled himself an 80 grand job as an MP by convincing people in one part of Nottinghamshire that he's one of them. A former coal miner who supported Arthur Scargill, Dennis Skinner and Tony Benn back in the 80s, Mr Anderson changed tack when he saw there was bare money to be made in fostering societal division and by calling everything in his life that he doesn't like woke gone mad. The 57-year-old oversized Subbuteo figurine and fridge-framed school bully once said he hated the idea of MPs taking second jobs, then at the earliest opportunity took a 100 grand a year contract with GB News. He repeatedly backed losers in Tory leadership elections and says that human rights campaigners make him sick. Well, scientists say his actions show the equivalent intellectual reasoning of a special needs turkey that's just been on the sharp end of a frontal lobotomy. And Mr Anderson joins the ranks of fellow mono-brain-celled meatbags Nadine Dorries, Andrea Jenkins and Brendan Clark-Smith, who are thick as big donkey dicks, yet somehow end up representing British voters. Back to you.
Wolf and Gladiators, thank you. Well, in a statement released a few moments ago, the Guinness Book of World Records said, despite his fairly obvious shortcomings in the brainial region, his ability to get caught out faking a door knock, and thinking you can feed a full-grown human for 7 pence, Mr Anderson has thrived, and there can be no other explanation for this other than he's some sort of secret genius. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Thank you, Larry and Paul, for that update on 30p Lee Anderson as named Britain's brainiest there. Guys, make sure you check out Larry and Paul and subscribe to their YouTube channel as always. Whew. Yeah, I can't believe that news just happened to just break through there. Well done, Ollie. I can't believe Ollie got on the ball there. He's still not happy, though. I don't know what he's upset about. Oh, I know why he's upset, guys. So just a quick couple of things just before we move on. So, guys, I am, as of right now, from the time of this recording, and hopefully the subscriber will get a bit close, I am currently 13 subscribers away from the 1,000 subscriber mark. Now, obviously, I know all of you, the vast majority of you who are listening here in the live chat are subscribers, and I really appreciate it, and some of you are even members, which I greatly appreciate as well. So, and this Thursday, as many of you, as I've said before, and I've put it in the community post, this Thursday is the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of when I started the YouTube journey as on this channel. I would like to get there before Thursday if possible, guys. Now, obviously, I will try and tweet. I will tweet out here to appeal to try and get there, but I really, really need you guys to really help me out here. Please make sure you hit that like button and really do try and share this across social media and help me get over that line before Thursday. It would be absolutely fantastic if we could do it before the anniversary show. It's not the end of the world if we don't make it there, but we can definitely do it. But I need you guys to help me do it if you want me to get there. So if you can, please try and share this across whether it's Discord, Twitter, whatever. Just help me get over that number. Because once I hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, guys, as you guys know, I'll be able to monetize. I can't say that word, which will allow me to gain revenues from ads. No, I will not be spamming the channel with ads. I want to just put that on the record as well for you guys. I'm not going to do that, but obviously I'll be able to make a little bit more money than just the money that from those who give super chats and those who are YouTube members, which really does help keep my bills down. Which I want to say again, thank you to everyone who is a YouTube member. And for those who have given memberships, you guys know who you are. Alistair Keir, one of you, one of the kindest here, without a shadow of a doubt. And for those who have given super chats, because they really do help when it comes to the bills every month. They really do. I really mean that. But just getting that, I just want to get to that 1,000 mark more than anything, guys, before Thursday. So if we can get there, it would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, please, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It would mean the absolute world to me, guys. And Ollie will be very happy. And I have some really fun stuff. It's going to be an absolutely fun show on Thursday. I promise you. It's going to be a fun show. You're going to have lots of laughs. I promise you. So carrying on here with the viewpoint, guys. I should actually see what you guys are saying in the comments, actually, because what's the vote so far? 21 votes so far, actually. 52% of you say no. Does Lee Anderson have no idea what he's doing? Still 5% of you think he just asks mum. So nobody thinks he's a mama's boy. 40% of you don't know who the F Lee Anderson is, and 29% of you think he does know what he's doing. Yeah, cross fingers. Yeah, cross fingers. Alistair Keir, thank you so much for that gifted membership. That's very kind of you, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you for all those gifted memberships. It really does mean a lot. 13 not long to go. Yep. Hi Airbus, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Even he said hello to Ollie. Ollie's there. Yeah, Ollie's not in a good mood because we haven't reached that 1,000 mark yet. So Ollie will be much happy once we get there. Anyone who starts in the Labour Party and ends up reformed via the Tories must have no principles, says Steve. Absolutely, 100%. Assistant to the regional manager, says Andrew Luke. As the Tories are barely the brown shirts, they need to have taken a dip in the Thames, says Jal. It's like quitting the SS to join the Gestapo, says Steve. Leaky Lee is chasing a wage packet, says Stephen Banker. Yeah, he's after the money. He's after the money, definitely. Lee speaks, everyone listens and does not have the faintest idea of what he is talking about. No, he doesn't. He has no idea what he's talking about. Try not to sneeze right now. Lee is just fodder. He'll be cast off to history, never to be heard again. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, in all seriousness. Let's see if anything else. Lee knows that the Tories won't be spending much on his general election campaign. Reform will throw everything they've got at it. I do agree, Wolfpet. I agree. They will put money a lot behind Lee Anderson to try and keep him in that position. But it's not going to be easy. Like, not everyone's buying into it in Ashfield, I'm pretty sure. Who does he speak for? The guy at the pub screaming at foreigners? Probably, yeah. Lee Anderson, he's so funny. He is funny, but he's also like he's working with some people, isn't it? Creepy Lee joining the deformed party is nothing but a party hopper. The party hopper does come across. That's a great way to describe it, Stephen. He is a party hopper. Give not to be trusted in anything. IMO slimy little creep, says Wolfpet. Did you say 30p flea? Yeah, 30p flea. Yeah, 30p flea. He does have allegedly a lot of fleas there. Yep, thanks guys so far for all your comments. Right, this next one, guys, is question marks on Labour. This one from Open Democracy. This was from last week. So Labour puts a lobbyist on the ballot, and his big business is the winner. Prospective MPs with lobbying day jobs are introducing their clients to senior Labour figures and boasting about it. This is the stuff about Labour that really, understandably is what upsets people when there's lobbyists on the ballot here. So when Pauline Brigaden chaired a meeting between Labour's shadow climate change chief Kerry McCartney and reps from the energy, manufacturing and transport industries in January, she wore two hats, lobbyist and parliamentary candidate. As a lobbyist, Ballington was in attendance as a senior advisor for Hanover Communications, whose office at the meeting occurred to connect their high-power clients with McCarthy in a run-up to an election that Labour is expected to win. Meanwhile, in her Labour role, she is the candidate for East Fenwick. I can't say that word, sorry. A newly formed constituency largely based on bewittered lead backing seat of South Kennet on the Kent coast. McCartney, Billington and business leaders spent an hour or so discussing Labour's policy programmes and priorities, including its much-featured Green Prosperity Plan over coffee and pastures, according to a Lincolnton Post by a Hanover employee. On the table in front of them, a sticker on the back of the laptop reads, "There is no Planet B." 3 weeks later, on the February the 8th, Labour publicly confirmed the party was binning the centrepiece of its economic and climate change policy, so the so-called Green Pledge to invest £28 billion a year into the Green Prosperity Plan. If you hear some animal noises, it's just foxes in our garden. Don't worry about it. They're fine. The money was meant to go towards tech that would tackle climate change, but the party said it would spend the equivalent of just £5 billion a year on its plan during its first term in office. If Labour wins the next election, this U-turn will directly affect precisely the sort of businesses who represent McCartney and Billington back in January. It's almost like they've got their own lobbyists building up, for their benefits here for them, getting in there now before Labour get in power. Billington and McCarthy and a spokesperson for Labour would not confirm which of the organisations on Hanover's client list, which include 2 oil and gas firms. Oil and gas firms, hey? Attending the meeting, nor would they confirm or deny whoever they're present at the January the 18th roundtable were given advance notice of Labour's £28 billion U-turn. Billington is just one of cohort of lobbyists selected to represent Labour as candidates in the next general election, which is likely to be this year. At least 20 of the 215 prospective Labour candidates announced thus far are current or former corporate lobbyists, with at least 15 more coming from a wider public affairs and consultancy sector. Several work with the firms have represented clients including Amazon, Uber, can't say that word, sorry, and British American Tobacco UK in the last year, according to UK Lobbying Register. Most of these candidates, including Billington, failed to mention their current line of work in any campaign literature. I wonder why they keep forgetting those kind of things. Billington's LinkedIn profile says nothing about her role as a senior advisor at Hanover, simply describing her current profession as a freelance strategic advisor. Over the past year, there has been at least 10 private meetings and events chaired by the lobbyist come candidate between business leaders and shadow ministers. According to social media posts seen and verified by Open Democracy, at these meetings, those with the right connections can get exclusive insight into Labour's policies and advise on how best to lobby the party and offer up suggestions for what Labour should do in office. See, I don't like this. These private companies, I just don't like that they have these they can get connections into politics. We need to cut this shit out. They really need to. They need to cut this out. These third parties and people who put money in these political parties, they need to be cut out of it, because they have too much sway on politics, on politicians and political parties, and it needs to stop, because it just means that every single time in this country, us, the people, become secondary. All the time. We will always be secondary to this. Alistair Keir gifting another membership. Thank you so much. You're gifting it to Mark Wilkie. Jolly K got a membership as well earlier. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well as well. Thank you for that, Alistair. But the blurring of the line between candidates and lobbyists is worrying for some Labour traditional supporters who fear big business will hijack the agenda before the party even gets into government. Members of the Bakers, Food and Alliance Worker Unions voted to sever a 118-year-old link with the Labour Party in 2021 because, according to the national president in Holston, the union could see the direction of travel under new leader Keir Starmer. Holston is one of many in the wider workers' movement who think the dropping of watering down of key policy positions under Starmer is part attributed to the fact that the corporate lobbyists are now deep inside the party. This is exactly what they're... Yes, this is exactly what is happening. Keir Starmer is listening to corporates. How many... I don't recall any recent articles within the last several months about discussions between the trade unions and with Labour. It's a lot with corporations. You can't, and No Justice made a very valid point as well. I remember she said this. You cannot be a party for the working people and be party for business. And I actually think she's right. If you can have a balance between the two, but you can't be the party for business and the party for the working class. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. You either one or the other, or you sit in between the two. And I think she's right on that. He said their approach seems to be driven by fairness, but by what corporations think is acceptable. The Labour Party does not want to be seen as the new Tory party, but but the Tory party is always hid behind this veil of secret discussions with lobbyists and corporate interests, and it appears that the Labour Party is doing the exact same thing that it accuses the Tories of. At their last Labour conference, I remember there were a lot of private weapon corporations at their conference as well. If I recall as well, a lot of odd corporations and businesses being a part of the Labour conference as well, but there's definitely one or two weapon firms there as well. The party is supposed to be Labour, not employer, is it not? Yeah. And then you think of Labour and you think of the working party. You do think of them as a working party, but they are definitely being swayed by corporations, because there's a lot of these corporations and lobbyists seeing an opportunity in Labour, and they're throwing a lot of money at them. Open Democracy actually revealed before Rachel Lees did her U-turn on the Green Pledge that she apparently was allegedly thrown a lot of money by or talked to by certain banks and certain corporations allegedly as well. Not confirming or denying anything, but just their allegations out there. After the 28 billion U-turn, Holson and a number of other trade union sources said they are concerned that the so-called New Deal for workers included a raft of measures aimed at strengthening the rights of people at work from day one of their employment will be the next major policy to fall. Once elected, MPs are banned from carrying out paid lobbyist work, but there is no such rule preventing people who have been selected as unofficial candidates for Parliament continuing to work as lobbyists up until they are elected. Alistair Keir gifting a number of membership there. Thank you so much. He's giving it to Ben Riggins. Thank you so much, Alistair, for the free memberships you've given today. Much appreciate it. And the limitations of the Transparency Lobbying Act mean that their lobbying firms are only obliged to declare clients on behalf as they lobby the government. Not opposition parties such as Labour, as a consequence, Labour has no obligation to publish the details of meetings between front benchers and lobbyists, such as the one chaired by Polly Billington. This has led to a major lack of transparency, which even the lobbyist industry represent bodies. The Charter Institute of Public Relations, the CIPR, says is a problem. In our view, any lobbyist, whether standing as a candidate or not, should be required to declare their activities. Their president does not allow them to register, and we believe that this has to change, he says, the CIPR's chief executive. I'm going to leave the rest of this just because I've got one more. Well, I had two more articles, but I wanted to cover at least one more before we wrap up, just because I think it's an important one to talk about. Like I said, the link for it is in the description if you want to have a look read the rest of it. But what I will say is that this is something that has been bothering me. It's a cause for concern, and this is one of the reasons why you can't fully trust Labour. And I understand. I hate the Conservatives. I want them gone. I want them disappearing from existence, just like everybody else here. I totally get that. But man, oh man, do I not trust Labour with some of the things. I mean, like West Streeton really does put me off as a future health secretary, if I'm honest, guys. And these lobbyists getting influence within the Labour Party is a great deal of cause for concern. That is for sure. I'm going to skip I was going to do a post also from Huffington about why the UK was voted the second worst miserable place in the world, but we're not going to have enough time for that because I do want to do an after chat tonight, guys, as well on the Discord community. So this last story that I'm going to cover for you guys, let me just make sure it's on the right one. This is one from Barline Times, and is this definitely the right? Sorry, 1 second. Just want to make sure this is definitely the right one. Yeah. And this one came out today, and oh boy, the UK government, you're in big trouble. The United Nations has summoned the UK government over breaches of UN Convention on Disabled People's Rights. Sunak government has been called to face a UN committee over shocking conditions faced by some disabled people after years of austerity. Oh boy, we taxpayers are going to be paying out for this instead of the government themselves. It should really be paying out of the Conservatives' pocket straight up, if I'm absolutely honest, but like, I'm happy the UN is kind of like banging down on the British government about how they're treating disabled people in the UK, but I feel like we, at the end of the day, just the ordinary taxpayers, are going to end up coughing up the money for whatever fines are going to get thrown out here, if I'm honest. Yeah, no more benefit deaths. Yeah, I mean, there's the stories that we've heard consistently, not just from me, but from other YouTubers, about how people in this country are being treated. And obviously, the latest thing, obviously, they're looking to do more tax cuts as well, aren't they? The benefits for disabled people will look like they may be cut. Well, I think they should be taking this headline quite seriously, but I don't think they will, if I'm honest. So let's read into this one, yeah, guys. So, a key United Nations committee has summoned the UK government to face scrutiny over failure to properly implement the committee's call for a UK-wide disability strategy. The UN's Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the UNCRPD, said disabled people across the country are being denied their basic human rights. These include some disabled people lacking proper access to food, water and sanitation. This is in the UK, by the way. This is the UK. This isn't like Russia, or this isn't like Belarus, or like some country that has an authority. You know, this is the United Kingdom, and it's just mind-boggling that you would think that a country that is the UK has come as far as this. It's absolutely crazy. Alistair Keir, thank you so much for that £2 super chat, saying exactly Reganelite. Labour don't trust Labour don't trust for Ollie. Yeah, Ollie. I almost accidentally pressed the block button. I hate doing that on my phone. I've done that by accident. Didn't want to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Ollie's not just happy for the super chat, but he's very happy about this the UN going after the UK government. Yeah. Thank you for that super chat, Alistair. That's very kind of you today. You've been very kind today, buddy. Really appreciate it. We'll come back to Ollie, don't worry. I just, for me, it's like mind-boggling. It's crazy to me. Like, did honestly, guys, answer in the chat. Did anybody honestly think that 5-10 years ago, that you were expecting the UN to potentially fine the British government on people's rights? Did we honestly think this was going to happen 5-10 years ago? I honestly did not. Now, some of you may have seen this coming, but I honestly did not see this coming. But it's just so shocking that it's taking the United Nations to stand up and tell the UK government, "Hey, you're not treating its people properly." Like, it's insane. It's absolutely this article and this story about the United Nations going after the UK government is insane to me. It really, really is. A report into the breaches of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability found the UK in breach of Articles 19, 27 and 28 respectively: the right to live independently and be included in the community, the right to work and employment, and the right to adequately living standards and social protection. The government was due to appear before the committee in August last year to answer questions about their progress with the committee's recommendations, but the UK forced it to be rescheduled for March 2024. At the time, the committee found that not only was the UK government in breach of 3 articles of the convention, but its actions against disabled people were grave and symptomatic. As Keir said, to be fair, yes. Jael says the UK went downwards so fast that some people around here still think it is a good place to go to work, and all come back very quickly. Frederick said, watch Max's live stream about the poor blind person on LBC. Heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. It's absolutely terrible. Terrible story. And that's just one story, by the way, that we only know about. We don't know. There's so many more stories that we don't know about. That's even more the horrifying thing. It's going to take decades to repair the damage, says Frederick. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take a long time. Our reputation is in tatters. Dave McGuinness says, people have short memories. Last year, Starmer said Labour are no longer the party of the people. They're not the party of the people. They don't give any hope. They're not giving people hope. I mean, I try to be optimistic as much as I possibly can about Labour, but there are times that just make me feel like you guys are just as bad as the Conservatives sometimes. Like I try to be optimistic, because we need some optimism about the future. I understand why many people feel the way they feel about Labour. At the time, the committee found that neither UK government was in breach of 3 articles of the Convention. Oh, 1 second, guys. 1 second. I just noticed we had a disconnect there. 1 second. I just want to check. Are we still here, guys? Can you just give me a thumbs up in the chat if we're still here? Just want to make sure, because we just had a disconnect blip there. I can see Andrew Luke's latest live chat there. I had so many difficulties as a person with 2 jobs and 3 disabilities, as much as I like to wait the offer. Thumbs up there in the chat. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to check. I hate when I get those blips. I don't know what causes them. Thank you, guys. The UK, they include the gaps in safeguards for disabled people, unimplemented elements of the Equalities Act 2010, and a lack of resources to ensure the Act's correct implementation. The UN scathing critics, including findings that the government's overhaul of the disability benefits system resulted in hostilities towards the disabled community and wasn't backed up by evidence. Further, a lack of opportunities for input into welfare applicants' voices not being taken into account were not involved in shaping reform the UNCRPD had found. As a result, prior to implementing the so-called welfare reforms, the government knew the adverse effects of such reforms would result in, including breaches of their rights, the UN committee found. Nevertheless, the UK ministers persisted with sweeping changes to disability support, leading to breaches of the 3 clauses of the UNCRPD. Giles says, I've spoken personally to a person that went to the UK to work in a hotel, not as a waiter, a manager's job, and did not complete 3 months before going to Belgium. Yeah. Still here. Thumbs up. Okay, thanks. What's this? I had so much difficulty as a person with 2 jobs and 3 disabilities. So much I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait till after chat. I'm sorry to hear that, Luke. I'm genuinely sorry to hear that. It's infuriating that the government are just trying to get away with everything and everything. And the thing is that these people, they don't literally pay for any of these problems and these faults. Because they're in government, everything is just going to be paid out of the taxpayer's pocket. These guys aren't paying for any of the faults of their mistakes. We are just going to be paying out taxpayer money for everything. It's never them that pay out. It's us, taxpayers' money. English taxpayers, Welsh taxpayers, Scottish taxpayers. We are paying out for this. We are paying out for their failures. That's what really infuriates me. And at times I feel absolutely effing helpless about all of this. I really do. The government finally published an updated disability action plan, a document detailing 32 practices measures to improve disabled people's daily lives on the 5th of March, just days before the UNCRPD hearing. Now the March 18th hearing will put the UK under real scrutiny from the United Nations and pressure from disabled people's organisations for the first time since 2017, exposing their record of disability rights in front of the UN and the public alike. However, the government will likely be judged more on the actions it has taken rather than those it intends to take, a consequence of releasing an action plan this close to the hearing. Yeah, you can't take any action plan what they're saying seriously. Actions speak louder than words, and a lot of what they've done is said there's a lot of waffling, talk, and less than no action. What good is a government if it doesn't care for the most vulnerable members of society? That is the most basic function, says Steve. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. What is the point of this government if they're not even going to look after the most vulnerable in the society? They're only looking after the rich and their wealthy and their friends. They're not even looking after pensioners, which is their voter base. They're not even looking after them at this point. Despite the government's reschedule to their appearance on the 18th of March 2024, many disabled people and disabled organisations advocate for the community did attend, detailing how government policy cuts in funding have led to negative impacts on the disabled community. Hearing at the UNCRPD on the 18th of March could ultimately shape the next steps for the UK on disability policy, as the government faces scrutiny over record so far and whether its proposed actions will fulfil its duties under the Convention. If not, further monitoring of the ECHR, Equalities and Human Rights Commission, and the UKIM, the UK Independent Mechanism, is almost inevitable until the UN Committee is satisfied that the UK is fulfilling its duties to the disabled population. The UK Independent Mechanism, of which the ECHR is a part of, also consists of the Equality and Human Rights Commissions of Scotland and Northern Ireland too. The UKIM was set up to promote and protect, but also monitor the UK's implementation of the Convention, ensuring the rights of disabled people in Britain. In August 2023, it produced the report which assessed the progress the UK had made since they were found in breach of the Convention. Amina Peckham, co-founder of the non-profit group called Crunchies and Walking Sticks, said, "Unfortunately, the UK government has not yet demonstrated action when it comes to disability. They've talked about it, they've made a plan for it, but the disabled community needs to see its action, prioritisation, and quite honestly, at worst, attention to global scale discussions around disability. If they're going to do as they say, then they really want to drive action and change for the disabled community in the UK. This is an indisputable integral step and opportunity to show commitment and exactly how they plan to do it." The Special Rapporteur for the UNCRPD, Stig Latham, said it was of deep concern that the UK considered itself to be a leader in upholding the rights of disabled people. Disability Rights UK goes far to say the government's inaction has led to a widespread erosion of the rights of disabled citizens across the UK. Because they don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care. How many times have I said they don't care? They do not care. They don't care about disabled people. They don't care if they rot and die. They don't care. They never have. They never really care. If they had any ounce of care, they would do something. And the only thing they may potentially do something is if it may keep them in power. But even because they know they're going to lose power, they just literally are just trying to milk this country for as much as it possibly can before they're done. Speaking, hello number 3, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Speaking to Barline Times, Mikey Efrot, a campaigner for the organisation, said that there are 14 million disabled people in the UK. Although we are not a homogeneous group, we all want to live in an inclusive society where everyone has a fulfilled life and feels connected and valued. It's no surprise that our movement, that in 2016 the United Kingdom was the first country to be investigated for violating the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Disabled People. The investigation found grave and systematic violations of disabled people's rights, and we know these things have only gotten worse since. We hope the UN holds the government to account for the fact that our lives are not valued equally to others, for the fact that we've experienced discrimination and oppression in our daily lives, and our policies having continued to create disabling barriers that in our inclusion across society. The UK's damning criticism last year sparked demands for urgent action from the UK's Equality and Human Rights Commission. The ECHR found last summer that despite the insistencies of the Committee for the UK Government to carry out a comparable impact assessment of its policies affecting the disabled population, this has not happened. Ministers maintain that the consideration of equality's impact under the Public Sector Equalities Duty, the PSED, as established by the Equalities Act 2010, was sufficient. Well, it's obviously not sufficient because people are suffering. But the government lacks the progress has concerned many experts in those fields. Liverpool Hope University Centre for Culture and Disability Studies were among them. Dr. Everett Houston, Senior Lecturer for Disability Students at the university, said the UK government reluctance to acknowledge her violations of disabled people human rights under the UN Convention indicates that despite breakthroughs in policy legislation, discrimination continues to be widespread and rampant. In regards to their treatment for disabled people's human rights, instead of burying their heads in the sand, politicians ought to be hanging their heads in shame, she added. Too right. Too right. Meanwhile, devolved governments in Wales and Scotland have conducted their own impact assessments of the UK disability policy to varying extent. Apologies, bit of reflux there, sorry. Wales, where social security policies is not a devolved issue, has nonetheless reaffirmed its commitment to the social model of disability. A model says that people are disabled by social I can't say that word, barriers, not their individual impairments. Scotland has carried out some generalised impact assessments of devolved policy around income tax and its effects on disabled people. However, impact assessments of broader policy in the Scottish Government on disabled people is lacking, according to the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, the EHRC. Yet, for some disabled people, the action is not enough to show significant progress in the UK's disability rights and equalities record, nor do they see positive impacts from the government's policies in their own lives. Impact assessments may in theory uncover the problems, but things have not improved. In some areas, they have worsened. It's been 7 years since the UN first criticised the Tory government's dire treatment of disabled people, and in that time the situation has gone from extremely bad to abjectly terrible. It was 7 years ago. 7 years ago. Turning up to one hearing will not undo 14 years of deliberately punctuality policies, and the UN needs to develop ways to actually hold the government accountable for its repeated breaches of this convention. The only thing I can think of is them fining the UK government, but I feel like do they understand that if they finded the UK government, just us taxpayers are just going to end up paying out for it? That's how I generally think is the only way they're going to punish Britain. But I just feel like they're not going to be paying for it. We are. That's how I generally feel about it. So what are they supposed to do? Like, if they legit say they're going to issue a slap of fine on the UK government, let's say, for example, we are going to end up paying it out, taxpayers, under this Conservative government. We know that. That's how I see it. So I'm generally curious, what are the UN going to do to make the UK government listen? The UN needs to develop ways to actually hold the government accountable for its repeated breaches of the convention, Lucy Webster, a journalist and disabled advocate, told Byline Times. The government's disability unit, part of the Cabinet Office, was approached for comment but did not respond in time. Yeah, probably because they don't want to respond, if I'm honest, guys. They probably don't want to respond. I'm just going to end the poll there, and then I'll come to you guys in the chat. We do have one funny video, and there's a couple of things I just want to share before we move on. Thanks everyone who voted in the poll. Does Lee Anderson have any idea what he's doing? We've concluded that no, he does not have any idea what he's doing. 50% said no, 25% of you said yes. 12% thinks he should ask his mum first, or he always asks mum first. So we have concluded that he's not a mama's boy. 12% of you don't know who the F. Lee Anderson is as well, which is perfectly all right. So thank you everyone who has voted in the poll. Greatly appreciated it. Right, just going to come to you guys in the chat. Reganelite, the question is, does this mean the UK will have a blemish on their record? This will influence all pending international arguments depending on a clean record. That is the worst. It will damage England. The UK's reputation, I'm going to say specifically England. Reputation has been damaged. The UK government's reputation has been damaged by some of its actions, its comments and remarks over the last 14 years. It will have an effect on that. He has some soul searching. He didn't find any. Says says Jodie. Yes, but from the top, not from the bottom. Says 91 Leeds, and the current government is responsible. The current government is responsible, but this has been 7 years ago, so 14 years of the Conservatives. So I'm not quite sure we can kind of put this on Labour, if I'm honest. But some people may try to. I don't think we can blame Labour for this. Do we? Honest? I mean, some people might say that Labour have mistreated people in the past, and it's entirely possible. But I don't think we can blame Labour for this current situation. In Birmingham, financial mismanagement councillors who are still in power are going to cut the disability budget by 57 pence to balance the books. Yes, I've got a short video dropping on that. Yeah, a short that's exclusive from the Eye. I do have a part of that short video dropping. Thanks for reminding us of that, 91 Leeds. It's a horrible situation. They're cutting a massive amount of the children's budget, Birmingham as well. It's pretty disgusting. But I don't like Labour are not going to help these councils, so what the hell are they supposed to do? I've long considered myself to be socially disabled. Few people notice, says number 3. Frederick says, what kills me is that the British people pay into social security and yet when they need it most they are denied, or is it well below what they needed for everyday living? 100%. We pay our taxes, we work for a living, and we get bugger all back. We get bugger all back. That's how it feels. It feels like we're being shafted. It really does feel like that. Sorry, my voice is starting to crack up. This is all retreated when Capella took over and made chronically disabled people work full time, says Andrew Luke. At least the US helps the disabled. Is it enough? Absolutely not. At least they have something. But I feel like this current Conservative government are just ignoring people. And if I'm honest. Hello, I do not like reality, says number 3. Yeah, I know. I understand. You are correct. Our president, when he went to the UK last time, about a year before the Queen died, met her and refused to meet Boris. That interview is still online, says Jow. Interesting. I don't blame him for dodging Boris Johnson. He was, yeah, good on him for not doing that. Or good as a, yeah, I covered that comment. Yeah. Such a do. I'm going off politics on YouTube. Much less engaged now and focus more on fun. Well, this Thursday, number 3, we will not be covering politics on my 1-year anniversary show, guys. We're going to be having lots of fun. Some real fun stuff, guys. We're going to be having a great time there. So this Thursday, guys, 8 o'clock p.m. We're going to be having a very fun anniversary live stream, guys. It's going to be fun stuff, guys. Really great stuff. We're going to be having quite a few gags, I assure you. Already in speaking Portuguese, there are lots. Speaking of Portugal, there are questions about the statute of state country, less issues to work and live here as a tourist of the UK, so more issues at the border for the Brits, says Jal. Cake, gotta have cake. Yeah, cake. I should I get a cake just to show on stream? I don't know if that's a good idea. maybe. So, guys, just a quick update for you guys. Obviously, I'll just say this again just before we go out. There is one more final video, guys. I will say this. Can we get to 1,000 subscribers? Yeah, please help me do that, guys. Liking, sharing across social media, all that stuff. Let's get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, guys. We're almost there. Thank you, guys, so much for those who have been here at the start of this journey for me, for those who have come across, for those along the way who've come along and joined us here. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to be thanking so many people on the anniversary live stream, but let's get there. Let's get over that line, because the work doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop once we reach that mark. It's only going to get more. Just another thing as well. Monday to Friday on Patreon and Rumble, there's content. There's going to be a content dropping at 12 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday on both Rumble and on Patreon, guys. And you can see them for free. The links for them are in the description. So if you don't have access to Rumble, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry if you can't access Rumble, but you can access Patreon completely free. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to pay for it. You can watch additional content there for free. So that's also there as well for anybody who wants to check out that content there. And also, guys, I'm going to be in the live chat on the Discord after the show. If you guys want to come and hang out with me, I'll probably let you guys talk more than I will, just because my voice is starting to crack up. So let's go and speak to this man. It's been a while. I don't know where this man has been. I feel like he's been. I thought he was stuck in prison in Portsmouth, and I don't know if he's gotten out or not. But I do worry about where Colin has been. Ooh, wrong camera. But I thought I'd bring up a nice old one, and I hope you guys enjoy this one before we wrap things up.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
I'm shocked, Anthony. There's no other word for it. I've never heard of this newspaper making something up to suit an agenda before.
Well, Colin, I don't know what's happening, but I didn't see it coming.
If that paper has been mistruthed, then it'll change my perception on everything, and I'm not going to do that. It's disgusting.
I agree with you, Colin. For once, I agree. It's disgusting.
Why can't a national newspaper make up a story driven by an obsessive anti-BBC agenda with no care about the impact on a young man or the presenters without the left wetting the bed about it?
Well, I don't think the left's got anything to do with it for once, Colin.
You love it, don't you, that they've been careless with the facts for once in their illustrious existence.
Yeah.
First you ban page 3, and and now you criticise honest media moguls for one slight misstep. Will you not think of those poor journalists' careers?
Well, what about the journalists on the other side, Colin?
Well,
What about their
won,
careers?
They've won by
They've won.
being baselessly outed on social media and having their reputations besmirched by concerned citizens who just want someone to notice them. They can sue for defamation and earn thousands.
Well,
this is why anti-stars are overpaid.
Well, and the newspaper won't get sued for doing exactly the same thing, Colin.
Exactly. It's one
Right.
rule for giant media corporations with an axe to grind and another for 50-year-old men who live in their mum's basement. Anyway, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
I tell you what, I just saw something about Boris Johnson's WhatsApps yesterday. It's probably not important, though.
Yeah, I think it's nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing either, guys. I don't think it's nothing either. Right. Casper Nova with a £5 super chat. Good job. Thank you, Casper. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. And Alistair Care also with a £2 super chat. Funds for the cake. Okay, I'm going to have to get something now for Thursday now that with the cakes, guys. Thank you both for your super chats. Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you guys for all the membership. Thank you guys for all for coming along and for chatting. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, guys, before Max's live stream, 7 p.m, I'll be premiering World's News Round. So if you guys want to come and hang out with me in the chat there before Max goes live, you're more than welcome to come and join me in there. Then Wednesday, we are back with the Snowflake Watch at 8 p.m. There's no PMQs. I'm not covering PMQs this time. Last one covering that, and the budget killed me. I'm not going to do that again. So if you guys want to come and hang out Wednesday night with me, 8 p.m. with the Snowflake Watch, we're going to be reacting to certain clips and whatnot. If you're more than welcome to come and join me there. If not, that's fine. Obviously, Thursday, so this is what's happening Thursday, guys, because normally I do Regan's News Round on Thursday evening. Regan's News Round will premiere at 2 p.m. on Thursday. So if you're day off on Thursday and you want to come hang out with me on Thursday and watch new Regan's News Round, you're more than welcome to come with that. That's at 2 p.m. on Thursday, guys. And then obviously in the evening we will have the anniversary show. And then Friday, of course, we will have another episode of the Snowflakes Corner, 7 p.m. So that's an hour and a half before Max goes live with his live stream there. So that's the plan for this week, guys, as well as the usual content, videos dropping, short videos dropping every 6 hours as well. So that's just the schedule there if you guys want to know what's happening. So yep, don't you worry, I will never overlap on Max's live streams, but if you want to come and hang out with me before going into his live streams, you're more than welcome to come and do that, guys. So guys, thanks so much for coming along. Take care. Have a great week as always. Now to do my usual schmicks, guys. But before you go, make sure you hit the like button. They're greatly appreciated. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon, guys, so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And of course, if you want to financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.